How's y'all week been going? Obviously, as we start this new week, just want to again get on the mic, get on the camera, and share some thoughts, pour out my heart. Just want to check y'all mental. How are you? How are you doing? How's your family? How's work? These are questions that you should ask yourself daily, weekly, just to check your own mental. But obviously, this podcast, this segment, is for me to be able to reach out and be able to help and check on people who I probably don't even know, but definitely want to keep this going. I feel as I continue to do more and more of these, I feel more and more comfortable. Um, but I'm not going to stop. Like I said before, it doesn't matter who listens, who watches. It's good for the soul. It's good for me. And so I'm going to keep going. Um, just hope it continues to reach the people it's supposed to reach. So as I always start out, this is Mental Check Monday, episode 4. This episode will talk about um, the power of your words. Like your words have power in your life. Your words mean something. This topic is very important, as all topics are very important. But this topic really cuts deep because it's internal more than it is external. So we just jump right in. I always start with you're loved, you matter, you're appreciated, your life is important. Do not think that you don't matter. Do not believe that you're just here to exist. That's not true. Like you were created for an intended purpose, and without you, this world will not continue to function the way it's supposed to function. Like your existence keeps this world going. And so I don't want you to ever think that you don't matter. You matter. You're loved. I love you. I believe in you. I believe in what you believe in. And I want you to keep pressing forward. That starts with your mental. That starts with your thoughts. That starts with your words that you say. What you think about you is how your life goes, not what others think about you. What you think about you is how your life goes. What you believe about yourself eventually will come to fruition. So if you think that you're nothing, like eventually that's what's going to be. You're going to be nothing. And so I want to continue to encourage you that you matter, that you are somebody, that you're somebody to someone. Like, but you have to think about yourself in that way. I'll continue to push that. I'll continue to speak on it, but you have to take the bull by the horns in your life. That everything that you think about, there's a possibility of it happening if you put pen to paper, if you talk about it, if you have the courage to talk about it, you have the courage to put it into the atmosphere. um I was listening to some motivational stuff as I do every day. One of the biggest videos I love listening to involves Conor McGregor when he says, if you can see it and you have the courage to speak, you are creating that law of attraction and it will become reality. I think that's huge because if you can think it, like he says, you speak it and you pursue it. I think that's the huge part about it, right? Like we all have thoughts, we all have dreams, we all have goals, we all speak things, we all talk to our friends about it. But the third part, the most important part, is putting it into action. Writing the plan, thinking about the plan, writing the plan down, talking about the plan. The last component of it is putting it into action, like moving with the plan. And so the Bible says faith without works is dead. And so that means you can have all the faith in the world, right? But for it to actually come into existence, you have to work at it. You have to work with it. You have to put it into action. You have to move your feet. I always say that. I always say I'll always move my feet, no matter what. I'm a move in a direction. I think Denzel Washington said, "Don't confuse movement with progress. You can run in place and get absolutely nowhere," and that's the truth. Like you can, if you have a Apple Watch like myself, if you jog in place, you can actually trick your Apple Watch into thinking that you've gotten a workout. Now, it possibly could be a minimal workout, but it's not the same as running towards a goal. And so that's what progress is. Um, Movement with a purpose. And that's important because it means what you're doing matters. And so if it matters to you, then others will see that it matters. And then it might matter to them. You don't know. But you, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I love that too. And so we have to understand the power of our words. We have to understand the power of our thoughts also because it starts in our head. I think dreams are given to us by a higher calling. Again, I've said this before. I believe in God. I believe in the Father. I believe in the Son and the Holy Spirit. I don't know if you do. I'm not here to debate that. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I know what works for me. And so I'm going to put out what works for me, but I'm not going to sit here and drill you and say, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that, because it's your life. And in your life, you make the decisions on your life. You just have to understand that you have to live with those decisions. And if you put that work and you put an effort into it, I believe it'll all work out. But you just have to put the work in on the goal and the dream that you have in your mind. And I think that's key to development, to growth. Taking the steps, moving your feet forward. I think eventually you'll run into something. Like if you keep moving forward, you'll run into something. If you believe in it so much that it's purposeful movement, you're gonna achieve the goal because that's just how life works. Like that's like I always say, life happens. Life is going to happen. I talked about last time. You hear everyone say eliminating the distractions. Like that's impossible. You cannot eliminate distractions. You're gonna have bills. You're gonna have incidents that happen. Your car is gonna break. You're gonna need new. You're gonna get a nail in your tire. You're gonna catch a cold. You're gonna catch the flu. Um, you're gonna break a bone. Your kid's gonna break a bone. Family members are gonna get sick. Like life is going to happen. You can't eliminate that. That's not possible unless you live in a bubble. And even then, you're not eliminating anything. You're just not paying attention to it. But you can limit how it affects you, and that's all mental. That's all in your mind. It's all in your head, and that's how you grow. That's how you get out of the rut that you're in. That's how you become successful. That's how you build an empire. It's just from your thoughts to your words to your actions, putting it into a plan and putting a plan into action. Um, I think about this very often. I ask the question. I watch from time to time on Instagram. I watch a lot of Animal Planet, and I always think when I see the lion attack the elephant, why doesn't the elephant just step on it? Why don't the elephant just lay down, roll over, and kill the lion? And it allows you to when you think about it, you understand how powerful the mind is. The elephant, I've heard, believes the lion can eat it, and so it just assumes that the lion can kill it. That's it. Like, and so because of that, the elephant gets eaten. The lion feels as though even though the elephant's way bigger than the lion, feel like it can eat it. It's a mindset. It's a thought process. It's what's important to the mind of the lion is that's why the lion is the king of the jungle. You see other big cats, tigers, jaguars, and they don't. mess with the lion. Why? Because it's a mindset. That's it. The tiger probably can kill a lion. The tiger doesn't believe that. Because the tiger doesn't believe that, it doesn't challenge the lion. There are 20 hyenas refuse to challenge the lion because of mindset. It's almost as if it's how they are created. That they're just like, it's the same thing as I think about rabbits, right? The rabbit is a harmless animal, really here to be eaten. Like no matter what, the rabbit's not like, you look at all these Animal Planet videos and you're like, why don't they just fight back? You'll look at I think it was a fox chasing one rabbit in a field full of rabbits, and none of the other rabbits helped. None of the other rabbits seemed to care. Right? That's just him being eaten, and none of them think to themselves like, maybe I'm next. Like if we gang up on this fox, we could probably the fox would probably run. The fox probably doesn't want to fight. That's why it's attacking a rabbit because it won't get a fight. But they don't even think like that. They're conditioned, and so that made me think even deeper on how we as human beings are, how we stay in the situations we stay in, not because we can't get out of them, but because we don't believe that we can get out of them. And so that starts in your head. Like we all have these dreams, we all have these goals, we all have these ambitions, but why do they never happen for us? I think a main reason for that is because we don't believe they'll happen. We wait for luck. We wait for opportunities instead of making it happen. And that starts in your head. And whatever you believe about yourself, essentially is what you trap yourself into. You put yourself into that box. And I think that's how we struggle mentally with growth and development, how we struggle with different and various mental illnesses because we over time we take enough losses and we just believe that that's how life's supposed to be, and that's not the case. The reason I say that is because I lived it. Again, sitting here, I have this shirt on, the three young men that I dealt with last year. I mean, it was amazing. Obviously everything that happened last year, and then you get to see them on TV on Sundays is a blessing. But I want to talk about my life and how my mental kind of changed over the last few years. I remember in 2018, I was working at Southern University in college football, first job ever. And I was excited about it. I think I've talked about this before. I was so excited about it, and I was so eager about it, but I never even thought about um, how it would affect me financially, leaving high school to go to college, especially at HBCU. And I cherished the 2 years I was in HBCU because it was one of the best jobs I've ever had in my life because of the closeness of the job and how you wear many hats. And so you got to talk with admissions, and you got to talk with housing, and you got to talk with financial aid, and you got to talk with um, the cafeteria and stuff, and you just build relationships. It helped me become who I am today because of those relationships. But the story I want to tell is when I started in college football, I accepted the job because I was just so eager to get into college football. So it doesn't even matter. I didn't even talk about how much I made or whatever. And I get to the opportunity, I get the first check and I'm like, oh wow, like I'm not gonna be able to live off this. And the first thing in my mind creeps doubt. Like I should not have done this. I was making way more than this. I was living a better life. But actually I wasn't living a better life. I was living in a now. And if I would have stayed that way, I wouldn't be where I am now. And so looking back at it, I started because I'm not the type of person to just sit down, right? To just if I wanted it and I asked the Father for it, I asked, and so if I ask for something, I'm gonna do the best I can. That's just who I am. Anyone who knows me know that I'm gonna go hard, and so because I'm not gonna quit. It's never gonna happen. I'm not gonna quit. I'll die trying before I quit. Because I just believe if you ask for something, then you gotta do your very best at what you ask for. And if you do that, good things come from it. More opportunities come from it. Um, I'd rather not spend time complaining and griping, especially for something I asked for. And I think as I worked in college football, I realized that like you're gonna have real problems. Like I'm not saying, hey, you gotta be super motivated all the time. You're pushing through all the time. Like that's not realistic. Like life will happen. Um, Bills are a part of life. Like you're gonna have bills. What I'm saying is when you understand your issues and your problems, you got to create a plan and not create more obstacles. I knew I wanted this job. I knew I wanted to be in college football. I knew that's where I wanted to be. Um, so I had to make it happen. Otherwise, I just need to go back to where I was and accept the reality that I created for myself. Like life dealt me a hand. How do I maneuver this to make it work for me? Or I can go back to whatever life I was living and just shut up about it. Because two things only have, like, either you exist or you thrive. And all of it's a mindset. Like it's nothing wrong with being a high school teacher. I love that. I just wanted more for myself. I thought I can impact the world more with a bigger platform. I thought I had a gift that would help more than just the local high school. And I set out on that goal working in at Southern University in 2018, but I had to make ends meet. I could not live that way. It was not going to be possible. I was not going to make it. That's the truth. That's the reality. That's based on a decision I made. I had to then put a plan together to make sure that I thrive in this decision because people are watching, people who want to live the same life. They're waiting to see if you succeed. They but there's a saying of they call you nuts until it works and then they call you a genius. They'll say you're crazy and then the moment it works out, now you're a mad scientist. Now you're a genius. Now you're a mogul. And that's just how life is because most people in life really want to succeed. They want to be the very best. They're just afraid of taking that leap. And so what I've learned is as long as you put one foot in front of the other, you're making progress. You're not just in the same spot. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep stepping forward. Keep believing in where you're going and head in that direction. But keep your eyes up and keep moving forward. And I did that. And I picked up a job, an extra job, a second job, working at a hotel overnight. And it was not easy. I will not lie to you. It was very hectic. It was very tiresome. I was weak at times. I would work from 11, probably 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. overnight. And we had football staff meetings at 7 a.m. I would leave immediately from there. Whenever I was relieved, probably about 6:05, 6:10. Um, and I was smart enough to find a job. I was blessed, really, to find a job within 10, 15 minutes of my uh, job with Southern University. So I never overextended myself. Again, it's being wise in my decisions, right? Because the ultimate goal is not to make money. The ultimate goal was to be able to make enough money to live the dream that I wanted. Like it didn't matter if they gave me overtime, I didn't want it. If they gave me a raise to do more, I didn't want it because that was not what I wanted. Like I didn't want to make more money. I just wanted to make enough money to to survive, right? Allowing me to thrive in the job I really wanted, the career I really wanted to be in, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to do enough in the secondary job so that I can do the most in the primary job. Like I didn't want the secondary job to overtake the primary job because of financial gain. was I think that's how the world tricks you. It dangles money in front of you to not pursue your dreams, to get stuck, to work for 30 years, retire, and die. Like, I don't think that's living. I don't think that's life. I don't think that's the purpose. I think we're all here for intended purpose, and we're here to thrive. We're not just here to work, clock in, clock out, and then check out the world. We all matter. We're not here to exist. We're here to thrive. And in order to thrive, you have to push yourself beyond your limits, because the human mind is built to thrive, to recalibrate, to grow and build and continue to build. And so you have to challenge it, though. You have to do things that's tough. Again, I said I don't think anything is easy or hard, because most of us would choose easy. None of us would choose hard. And so it's right in the middle. It's tough, but it's achievable. You just have to believe in it. And working those hours it's really how I taught myself to get up at 4:30 a.m. and go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, because I was up at that time. Like, I would work. I was working, and so I had no other choice but to be up, because I couldn't fall asleep. The times I did fall asleep, I'm like, it happened because you get overwhelmed, you get drained, and your body will shut down. You will get sick. And so that's why I tell certain people, like, how I live, the way I work, the way I move, it's not for everyone. I'm not telling people that it's it's for everyone. I'm not telling everyone to do it. I will never tell you what to do with your life. I'm always going to tell you what I did with mine and how I got to where I am. And I'm not this big important billionaire, no. But I enjoy what I do. And so I want to share that with the world, so that you all can enjoy what you do every day. Like, I get to do what I do every day, and that's the most important thing, um, about enjoying life and thriving, and not being stressed and not consuming yourself with your work. If you work 8 hours on your job, you got to put 8 hours or more into yourself. Because if all you know is the job you work, they'll fire you, and you won't be able to do anything else. But if you pour into yourself the exact amount of hours and time that you pour into your job, you'll create revenue on its own. Like, I'm doing this podcast for the world, not for viewers, not for financial gain. If that happens, that happens. I'll create funds and different things to be able to give back, because this is my way of giving back. I'm not in it for the money. Anyone that knows me knows that. Like, money doesn't move me. It pays bills. Like, we have bills, so I'm never gonna say, oh, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing this because this is my way of helping the world. This is my way of giving back to the world that's given a lot to me. And if I can save one, I can save a million. I believe that. I do. I truly believe that. And that's why I talk about my life. I talk about my shortcomings. I talk about how I've grown over the years. Again, I'm 36 years old, and I am living an amazing life. I love what I do. I love the people I'm around. I have ups and downs. I have peaks and valleys. That happens. It's going to happen. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Life will happen. But life is not about what happens to you. Life is about how you respond to what happens to you. Life is not about adversity. That's going to happen. No matter what you do, you're going to face adversity. Your life becomes however you handle it. If you get great at handling adversity, you have a great life. If you suck at handling adversity, your life will suck. That is the truth, because life is going to happen. Your car is going to break down. You're going to get bad news from a doctor. You're going to burn your food. Like, the restaurant's going to give you the wrong food. Like, your girlfriend's going to break up with you. Your boyfriend's going to, like, those things are going to happen. Prepare yourself for it. Because if you don't, it's going to knock you off your feet, and you won't have a way to respond. That's the truth. If your parents haven't told you that, if your teacher hasn't told you that, if your doctor hasn't told you that, I'm telling you that life will happen. And sometimes life sucks. But if you prepare your mind, your body will follow it. If you condition your mind that I'm built to last, I'm built to withstand whatever life throws at me, you will do it because it's a belief. What do you believe in? I do believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I do believe that I was created for a purpose. I do believe that I matter. I do believe that I'm here to thrive, that I was created for an intended purpose, and that purpose lives in my thoughts, in my ideas, in my dreams. My gift was given to me specifically to solve a problem on this earth. And as long as I move in that direction, I'm going to be okay. Like, I believe that. And that's important for everyone that's listening and watching to understand about life. It is going to happen. It's going to suck, but it's temporary. Especially if you prepare. It's not saying you prepare like I know I'm going to get sick or like, don't speak that. That's like things will happen. That's not planned. You have to be able to condition yourself to respond to any and everything because you build up your mind to the fact that it's a fortress, that you don't let anything inside that you don't want. And it's easy to say, right? But again, I've lived it. I've been a part of it. I still am a part of it. Like life isn't easy for me. Like I'm not living on the moon. Like it's like life sucks sometimes. It does. Like you get fired. Like, but it's not the end of the world. It's not gonna stop. The world's not gonna stop because you got fired. Bills are not gonna stop piling up because you got fired. That's sometimes it's a blessing when you get fired because you probably would have stayed at that job forever and not do anything. You were created to create something that mattered. You were not created to work and die. That's that. I just don't believe that. I believe you're created. I believe we're created. I believe I was created to do something that matters and that will exist long after we're here. That's the truth. We all have a book. We all have an invention. We all have a gift that is going to outlast us. You have to find it. Maybe it's you singing. Maybe it's you dancing. Maybe it's you creating TikToks. I have no idea what it is, but you were not born to just work for someone. That's not life. And so I don't think you should accept that. Yes, work. Yes, make a living. Yes, provide for your family. But at the same time, pour into yourself. You will love it. It will make life better for you because it will give you a sense of purpose. Like this podcast gives me a sense of purpose. I look forward to doing this podcast every week now. I write down the stuff that I want to talk about because it's important to me. Like it doesn't distract me from my job. It doesn't. I'll work extra hours if I have to. I'll record this at midnight if I have to. Like I'm gonna get it done. If it's important to you, you'll find a way. Simple. No ifs, ands, buts about it. If it's important to you, you will find a way to do it. And I'm gonna find a way. Because I believe this matters. And so I ran it. I went on a ramble. I do that from time to time. But back to like working at Southern University and making sure I make this opportunity work. And I actually was making more money as a valet at a hotel than I was at Southern University. And that was a blessing. But I kept at it. I kept doing it. It was easy for me. I would get tipped. Um, but it allowed me to not focus financially. It allowed me to help others. It allowed me to thrive in life, to push forward on my goal of working in major college football. And those 2 years, I did it for 2 years. I worked overnight and would make every meeting. I was never late to a meeting. Never. Maybe once, maybe twice, but it wasn't because I was late or overslept. It was because I probably left the job. Because I would never leave the first job without checking like in and making sure everything was done. So I wouldn't leave because I had to go to my second job. If my relief didn't come, I would wait until they come. I would call because I don't, no matter what, if I'm doing something, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm not perfect at all. I make mistakes, but I never want someone to say I'm not a hard worker. That's, to me, that's the worst thing anyone can say about me. I don't work hard. That's just the truth. I never want to hear that. I might suck at my job. I might, you might not like me. You might not like the way I do things, but you will always say he busts his ass. That's it. That's the truth. I might be going in the wrong way, but I'm going the wrong way fast. That's a fact. That's just me. I'm going 100%, 100 miles an hour, and it could be completely the wrong way, but I'm gonna go fast, and I'll figure it out afterwards. I'll better turn around, but I'm gonna still go 100 miles an hour. That's the way I live life, and eventually, it's gonna stop. Eventually, it's gonna run out, but I will not look back and say, "Oh man, I wish I'd have did this way." I and that's I don't think you should ever live life that way. I think it creates anxiety and stress. Like, just go hard. Like, if you believe in it, if you really believe in it, tell people about it, right? Be careful who you tell. With some people will steal your idea. Um, but speak it into the atmosphere, make it known, and then go after it with everything you have available. And the world will honor that. The world will give back to you. It did with me. After 2 years at Southern, I was able to go to Memphis, and I enjoyed Memphis, but it was COVID, and there I didn't make much there either, obviously because of COVID. And I started to do valet again. Now in Memphis, valet is a little more dangerous, but I do what I had to do because the goal was still a goal. The dream was still a dream. At this point, uh I was working 3 jobs then. I was working with the Los Angeles Rams in a scouting internship role. I was working with Memphis in a recruiting role, and I was valeting, and I was making more money valeting. The world will figure a way out to bless you if you put one foot in front of the other continuously and never stopping. I think it was Kobe Bryant that said, rest at the end, not in the middle. So don't rest. Keep moving. Just keep moving. Yes, you'll probably you'll be exhausted. It'll be tiring, but it's better than quitting, failing, and not doing anything. I never want regret. Regret is something like I wish I would have. No. If it don't work, it don't work. I try. That's it. I'll get to try again. Like, it ain't over. I'll try something else. But keep moving forward. The one who say he can and the one who say he can't are usually both right. It's your belief system. What do you believe in? It's your words. What are you speaking about? What are you talking about? What conversations are you having? Are they moving you in the direction of your goals and dreams? If they're not, stop doing it. Stop having conversations that just to have conversations. You're wasting time. Time is the only currency that we all equally have. We all have 24 hours. That's it. That's the only thing we equally have as human beings. That's it. We all have 24 hours. It's the same 24 hours. I mean, your daytime might be different than mine. Your nighttime might be different. You might sleep differently than me. That's fine. We all have 24 hours. That's it. What you do with your 24 hours is your life. Show me the way you use time, and I'll tell you your life. Pretty simple. And that's like, you're gonna be people that's taller than you, faster than you, jump higher than you, sing better than you, dance like, but you both have 24 hours. What are you doing with your 24 hours? If they say they're better than you, then work twice as hard, because that's how it's gonna work out for you. Because you can't change that they're better than you and faster than you and all that. You can't change their attributes. It's not Madden. It's not 2K. You can't decrease their singing ability. But you can work, you can invest in your time better. And doing that, it conditions your mind to continue to move forward. I'll always say that every one of the videos, press toward the mark. Just keep pressing, because eventually you're gonna reach it, and then you're gonna realize it wasn't that tough, it wasn't that hard. Let me keep going forward, and then you're gonna reach another goal, and then you're gonna reach another goal, and then you're gonna look up, and you've created generational wealth for your future and your family's future. And maybe it takes 10 years, maybe it takes 20 years, maybe it takes 30 years, right? It's better than working for 30 years and someone tell you, hey, appreciate you, we're going to go ahead and let you go. You work 28 years and they let you go before you can retire. You put 28 years into someone else's dream. That's the truth. That's really how you got to look at it. Like, you're working on someone else's dream. When do you work on yours? That hit me maybe like 2 years ago. And I started to work on myself. Like, I'm not saying don't work. I don't want anybody to take this as, but you have to speak yourself into greatness, because you have it in you. You have to unlock it. How do you unlock it? Talk about it. Move about it. Grow in it. Write it on a mirror. Everything I ever want, everything that I ever want to pursue, I've written it down. I put it on a mirror. I see it every morning. I talk about it. I pray about it, and then I go after it. Have I gotten or received everything I've ever asked? No, that's not possible. I don't believe, but I've gotten something out of it. I've built relationships. I've made friends. I've established connections in the pursuit. I say the slogan, the saying I said to myself, I say it all the time. In my endless pursuit of perfection, I will achieve excellence. That's a daily grind. That's the truth. It's a daily grind. It's a daily pursuit. Never stop. Keep pushing. Keep pressing forward toward the mark. Another thing, your thoughts become your life. Your thoughts become your habits. It dominates you, how you think. And so if you think a certain way, you'll speak a certain way. So learn to change the way you think. Learn to change the way you speak, because how you speak about you is very important. Others will speak about you in the same manner because they hear you say it. If you use words that you shouldn't use about yourself, why would anybody else say anything different? If you call yourself certain things, why would your significant other or your kids or your boss, supervisor say anything different? That's what you believe. That's what you say. So why wouldn't they say anything different? Why would they believe better for you than would you believe for yourself? That's not possible. They 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 hear you say it, so they're gonna repeat it. Stop saying stuff about you that's not true. Stop thinking things about you that's not true. It's not true. Whatever you believe is true, and you can make it your truth. But you have to believe it. You have to put it into action. You have to think it. You have to dream it. You have to speak it, and then you put it into the atmosphere, and then you go get it. The moment you put it into the atmosphere, either it's going to be pulled away from you, or you're going to run and grab it. That's it. It's going to run away from you, or you're going to chase it. It's up to you. But the life that you dream about is possible. That's why you dreamed about it. It didn't just magically happen. You didn't just go to sleep and just think about certain thing. No, it's something that is on your heart. It's something that you really want, and it's something that you can achieve, and it's your mind saying it wants it too. Let's go get it. Write it down. Put it in a plan. It can be a long term, short term, but put a plan together and chase it. Pursue it. I started reading this book, Burn the Boats. Obviously, we've all heard the popular saying about burning the boats to the because it's a point of no return. If there's no escape plan, then you're gonna keep moving forward, which you ain't got nothing to go back to. And so that's how you gotta look at it. Like there's no plan B. Because if you have a plan B, it distracts from plan A. And I know I say a lot of things. And the reason I say all these things is because it's things that happen in my life. Like I said, I worked in valet. I no longer have to work in valet. Could I go work in valet? Yeah. But my time is consumed now with my reality that I set forward years ago. This happened in 2018. Is 2024. That's 6 years. Like your life can change in less than a year. It did for me. I did 2 years. Each year I've received a raise each year that I've been in this business, and it's obviously the blessings from the Father. It's the work I put in, the relationships. It's a culmination of everything, right? But it starts in my thoughts. It starts like I wanted, even back when I was living in New Orleans with my parents, and I wanted to go. I was living with my grandmother, and I didn't like the life I was living, and I started to pursue a life in sports. I went back to school at Southeastern Louisiana in 2008. Then it kind of started. I was in culinary arts. I was working in restaurants, and I was making again good money. Like it was a good life. Like culinary arts, is fine dining is a great life. That wasn't for me. I was pursuing something that was minute. I was pursuing something that was immature to my mind. I was chasing money. I wanted that bag. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted more. I wanted more than this to exist and drive and have nice things. I wanted to have a purpose. I wanted to leave a mark on this earth. And so I went in a different direction. And I haven't looked back since. I haven't regretted anything. Like COVID year was tough. It was devastating. I lost a lot, but I kept pressing forward because I had a goal. And I've had setbacks. I've taken slow steps, but I would never. I don't think I've ever stopped. I don't think I've ever went backwards. I've continued to move forward. Maybe I've slowed down a little bit, but I've continued to move forward. And I think that's the thing, right? But I've always believed in what I wanted. And I spoke about it. I talked to people. There are people in my life that have talked to me and probably thought I was crazy. And then it happens. Because you have to be a little crazy. You have to be a little insane. You have to be a little delusional in believing in yourself. But you have to understand that it's all possible. It all happens for a reason. You are here. You are created. You were fearfully and wonderfully made in this right time. It's no coincidence that you were born when you were born. It happened for a reason. You were born at the time you're supposed to make a difference on this earth. And we need you to do that. We need you to do that. A big thing I want to kind of finish up on is stop worrying about what people think of you. They're gonna think that way of you anyway, no matter what. Most of the time, like I say, they're gonna think what you think of you. If you say it out loud, if you think you're a failure, they're gonna think you're a failure. Because that's all you talk about. If you think you're successful, if you think you're gonna climb a mountain, they're gonna think you're insane. Let them think that. They'll be on the other side of that. They'll be at the top of that mountain cheering you on. They'll be on the other side of that rainforest. They'll be on the other side of that race when you finish. Because that's life. They're only watching you because they're trying to see if you make it. If you make it, they're a fan. They're friends. They're loved ones. They'll cheer you on, but the whole time they don't think you're gonna do it. Why? Because you said you don't do it, not because they just think that. Something about you, words you've said, actions you've taken, they just don't think you're gonna finish. Change it. You're a failure until you succeed, and then you just roll off victories. So it's crazy because it's belief. Once you see it, once you achieve it, once you know it's possible, then everything's possible. Just like the 4 minute mile. Nobody was. got the 4 minute mile, and one person broke it, and now everybody does it. Why? It's because it's the human mind. That's how we're conditioned. That's how we are. The second we see, I think it was Evil Knievel made those historic jumps. Everybody said he was crazy. He could kill himself. But you know what? He believes he can do it, and he went and did it. Every time. I watched him jump out planes. I watched him jump over multiple buses. These are things that was never done before that he did with ease. Why? Because he was created to do it. He wasn't created to do anything else. Though. He was created to do that, and he went and did it, and we'll forever remember him for it. That's his mark on this earth. What is your mark on this earth? I challenge you to do more than just work, make some money, retire, and die. Your life matters more than that. You were put on this earth to be more than that. You matter. You're loved. You're cherished. We need you. We need you to succeed. Like there are people on this earth that need your dreams. They need your book that you're writing. They need the story you're telling, the movie you're making, the song you're singing. They need it because it's going to get them through life. The things we go through, not all of it is for us. It's for someone else to see you go through it and get through it so that they can be encouraged and do the same. Remember that your words are powerful. What you say about you matters. What you say about you becomes your life because it conditions you to be a certain way, to think a certain way, to believe a certain way. You're better than what you think you are. You just got to keep pressing forward. I love y'all. Cannot wait to the next episode. I cannot wait to what I do next. I'm excited about it. I really am, because I just want to save the world. I'm serious about that. One person at a time, one life at a time. I know I'm making connections. Keep fighting. Don't give up. You matter. We need you. We love you. I love you. Be blessed.